Hey everybody, this is Brother Loomis. I just wanted to create a short video to try and help you with this week's assignment, the first 4 steps of the needs assessment. Needs assessment can be difficult, especially your first time that you're doing one. Hopefully the template and then meeting with me and the instructions that you've read in the book will help you through this process. Most important thing you want to do, first off, is establish your target population. Okay, and you want this to be very focused. Okay, you don't want to have, the United States of America or the state of Utah. I would say city, county at the biggest, but even then you want to be more focused. What age group? Do you want children? Do you want teenagers? Do you want middle-aged, elderly? Do you want a minority population? Do you want men, women? That type of information. And so you can either just pick that and then go to the data and find out what are the biggest problems there, or you can kind of do some basic searches before. So for example, I pulled up this from the Utah Department of Health. Say I'm from Utah, I want a program here in Utah, so I'm just going to look at some things and find out what are the problems, right? So if you look at the leading causes of death, heart disease, cancer are the 2 biggest ones, which is no surprise, right? But say I'm pretty interested in cancer. I can dig a little bit deeper there. Again, just another indicator there showing that. If we go to the Cancer Facts and Figures, which is a resource that's produced every year, it has all the information about cancer. So if we go to the Utah here, we'll see these 2 numbers are all cases for men and women, but we'll see that 113.8 is for females and breast cancer specifically, and 156.8 is prostate cancer in men. So that's kind of showing me that if I wanted to do a program in Utah for cancer, the 2 biggest problems would be breast cancer and prostate. And so I'd want to choose, well, do I want to go with help a program for women or for men? But what you're going to do is pick that population and then go and find what are the other problems, what are the other cases of morbidity and mortality. And that's going to help create this mind map. So say we wanted to do women in Utah, and then you'd want to break that down even further. Say Utah County or Salt Lake County. Okay, and usually the way you do that is by finding out which are the areas that are most affected. Right? So breast cancer is highest in a certain county in Utah. We're going to do that. Breast cancer being one of the conditions. What are the other problems? Maybe motor vehicle accidents, maybe I'm blanking here, cardiovascular disease, right? And so you list off the major contributors to poor health in your population. And then the rest of the steps are going to help you break down what are the real problems there. What are the actual causes leading to those disorders, right? So if we come down, step 2, you're designing the scope for your needs assessment. And basically what that's asking is, what are the questions that your research is going to answer? And I think the most helpful thing to do is actually come down to step 4 and look at these factors here. Okay, so let's go back to the breast cancer example. Okay, are there any environmental factors that lead to breast cancer? Maybe, and that's one area, one research question that you could create that you want answered. Maybe the answer is no, and so that's not a problem that you're going to look into after that. Behavioral factors, is poor diet, is lack of physical activity, are those risk factors for cancer? Okay, then you go, so you create research questions about each of those. What about genetics? So you create those research questions to define what you're going to be looking for in the research. Because let me tell you, you can spend a lot of time in the research. There's so much out there. You want to know specifically what you're looking for so that you don't waste your time. Okay, so define your research questions, and then also the prevention level. Okay, so this gets more into the program that you're going to develop. Primary, secondary, tertiary prevention. We talked about that in a few weeks ago. You can look back on that if you need a refresher. Once you find out what your research questions are, then you want to go to the data and find answers. And those, we've got some sources here. You can use the library website. That has a kind of a compilation of databases that are most helpful in our area. You can use state and local web pages like I did. I found stuff from like the Utah County Health Department. You can also use other records, police and hospital records, if you can find those available. What you want to remember is we're not going to be doing primary data collection here. That's when you go do focus groups and interviews. It's very time consuming and very difficult, and you actually have to have permission from the university before you can do that. Okay, so we're doing secondary data collection. One thing to remember though, the citations. APA format is very important. If you've never used that before, even if you have, the Purdue OWL, the University of Purdue, has a website, and if you Google APA format, it'll almost for sure pull up as one of the first links. It's a very good source to create your citations, both in text and in your reference page. Okay, so use that. Again, we're not going to do primary data collection, so let's skip down to step 4. Basically, step 4 is prioritizing. Okay, you found your population, you found out what conditions are causing them to have poor health, and then what are the actual causes there. So now we need to know, what are we going to do? What is our program going to look at? And you do this by filling out this, 2x2 matrix here. You want to look at two things. What are the factors that are most important? And what are the factors that are most changeable? And I do this on 2 levels. First, I break it down into what is the health behavior that we want to look at. What's the most important and the most changeable? And so maybe breast cancer and motor vehicle accidents are our top two. Breast cancer has a much higher mortality rate than motor vehicle accidents. This is all just made up off the top of my head, not from research. But then we would put that here. We would want to look at breast cancer because it's more important. Then, as far as the risk factors go, what are the most important risk factors and the most changeable? Okay, so genetics, very important for breast cancer, but it's not so much changeable, whereas physical activity or proper diet are going to be important and changeable. So you're going to want to fill out this matrix. Actually write on here or type in here if you can, and prioritize so that you know what your population is, where, and what is the health issue. So again, not just breast cancer, but lack of physical activity is my issue. So you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to create a good mind map that's actually created, and you're going to turn it in, whether you do it by hand or do it in like PowerPoint or something. You're going to be turning it in. So make sure you get that. Get a good start here. And I'm really excited to sit down and meet with you all in your groups to help you kind of focus this. You really got to have a good needs assessment going so that you can create a great program. So I'm excited to meet with you all. If you have any questions before that, call me or email me. I'm always available. Well, not always available, but I'm always willing to talk when I am available. Have a great day, guys. Bye.